Have you ever wondered why some concepts feel impossible to understand, no matter how many times you read them? Why do you sometimes feel like your brain just wasn't built for certain subjects? What if I told you the problem isn't your intelligence, it's your approach to learning? My friends, today we're diving into the revolutionary Feynman method, a learning technique that has transformed countless struggling students into confident thinkers. This method isn't just another study hack, it's a complete paradigm shift in how we approach knowledge. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. Has this ever happened to you? You read a textbook chapter multiple times, highlighting important passages, yet when someone asks you to explain what you learned, your mind goes completely blank. That frustrating moment reveals something crucial about how our brains work. True intelligence isn't about storing facts like a human encyclopedia. It's about understanding concepts deeply enough to explain them simply. Richard Feynman, the Nobel Prize-winning physicist, discovered something profound about learning. If you can't explain a concept to a complete beginner, you don't truly understand it yourself. When you attempt to teach something out loud, your brain performs an extraordinary feat. It transforms scattered bits of information into coherent structures, activating multiple regions of your mind simultaneously. Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to discover might surprise you. Most educational systems have trained us to value complexity and jargon, as if using complicated terminology somehow proves intelligence. But the opposite is true. Real intellectual mastery is demonstrated when you can break down intimidating equations and scientific concepts into their fundamental patterns and relationships. Think about it. What if that math problem that's been keeping you up at night isn't actually complex at all? What if it's just poorly explained? Our brains naturally seek patterns and simplicity, yet we've been conditioned to believe that academic subjects must be difficult and confusing. The Feynman method challenges this assumption by showing us how to strip away unnecessary complexity and focus on the essence of ideas. When you understand something truly deeply, you can explain it using everyday language and simple analogies. Einstein didn't need fancy terminology to describe relativity. He used trains and lightning bolts. What's fascinating is that when you approach learning this way, something magical begins to happen in your neural pathways. Your brain stops treating new information as isolated facts to be memorized and starts seeing the connections between concepts, building a rich network of understanding that stays with you long after the exam is over. If you're fascinated by unlocking your mind's full potential, hit subscribe and become part of our community of curious thinkers. I create content designed to transform how you learn and process information. And this is just the beginning of how the Feynman method can revolutionize your approach to learning. In the coming minutes, we'll explore how this powerful technique can transform not just how you learn, but your entire relationship with knowledge. When we examine the mindset of history's greatest thinkers, we notice something striking. They approach learning not as drudgery, but as a thrilling adventure. Think about the last time you played your favorite game. Hours passed like minutes, right? Your focus was complete, your energy boundless. Now imagine bringing that same engaged state to your studies. The hidden truth about traditional education is that it often strips away the natural joy of discovery and replaces it with the mechanical act of memorization. But what if learning calculus could feel as engaging as solving a puzzle? What if exploring chemistry could trigger the same dopamine release as leveling up in a video game? The transformation begins when you shift from passive consumption to active exploration. When Einstein contemplated the mysteries of the universe, he wasn't grinding through textbooks. He was playing with thought experiments that fascinated him. What would it be like to ride on a beam of light? This childlike question, which might seem naive to serious academics, sparked the journey toward one of the most revolutionary theories in physics. The most profound revelations in human history didn't come from people who had all the answers. They came from those courageous enough to ask questions others dismissed as obvious or irrelevant. Newton didn't just observe an apple falling. He questioned why it fell downward rather than upward or sideways. This seemingly simple inquiry led to the formalization of gravity, a concept that fundamentally changed our understanding of the physical world. Your brain craves this kind of meaningful engagement. When you approach learning with genuine curiosity, when you turn, "I have to study this," into, "I wonder how this works," your mind creates stronger neural pathways. Information sticks not because you forced it to, but because it matters to you. This impact extends far beyond academic achievement. The decisions you make about how you learn shape your entire intellectual identity. Those who memorize facts may pass tests, but those who question and explore transform into independent thinkers capable of generating new ideas. Consider the difference between these two approaches. Student A reads that photosynthesis converts light energy into chemical energy, memorizes the definition, and moves on. Student B wonders, how did plants figure out how to eat sunlight? What would happen? If they couldn't, how did this process evolve? One student is completing an assignment, the other is embarking on an intellectual journey. The most valuable mindset you can develop isn't one of knowing, but of wondering. Each why is like opening a door in your mind, revealing rooms you never knew existed. And behind each of those doors, more questions, more possibilities. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring how emotional intelligence plays a crucial role in unlocking your learning potential. Because there's another element at play here that few educational systems address, the relationship between how you feel about learning and how effectively you learn. If you've ever experienced that moment when a concept suddenly clicks into place, write in the comments, "The light bulb just went on." I'm curious to know which subjects have given you those breakthrough moments of clarity. You might be wondering why some of the brightest minds in classrooms often freeze when asked to speak up. The revelation here is that intellectual capacity and emotional freedom are deeply intertwined. Many potentially groundbreaking ideas die in silence because the thinker fears judgment more than they desire discovery. Consider the watershed moment in any learning journey, that instant when you're about to raise your hand to ask a question, but then the doubt creeps in. What if everyone thinks it's obvious? What if I sound foolish? In that critical moment, the trajectory of your intellectual growth hangs in the balance. The most profound barrier to your intellectual evolution isn't your cognitive capacity, it's your relationship with vulnerability. Behind the scenes of every genius-level breakthrough was someone willing to ask what others might consider a stupid question. Einstein wasn't afraid to imagine riding on light beams. Marie Curie wasn't concerned about looking obsessive as she processed tons of pitchblende to isolate radium. This liberation from social approval isn't just nice to have, it's essential. The mindset shift from "what will they think of me" to "what am I curious about" represents the fundamental difference between intellectual mediocrity and extraordinary discovery. When you're no longer tethered to others' perceptions, your questions become bolder, your thinking more original, and your insights more profound. Emotional resilience becomes the foundation upon which your intellectual house is built. Without it, even the most brilliant potential remains dormant, trapped behind the walls of self-consciousness and conformity. The courage to be wrong publicly might be the single most valuable attribute in your learning arsenal. Subscribe to join thousands of others who are changing their relationship with learning. Every video is crafted to help you discover the genius that already exists inside you. The pathway to this transformation is both simpler and more challenging than most educational systems suggest. It begins with cultivating genuine curiosity, approaching each subject with the wide-eyed wonder of a child asking why about everything they encounter. This isn't naive, it's revolutionary. The most sophisticated thinkers maintain this childlike quality throughout their lives. The journey continues as you practice translating complexity into simplicity. When you force yourself to explain quantum physics to an imaginary 8-year-old, you're not dumbing it down, you're distilling it to its essence. This process reveals the gaps in your understanding and strengthens the neural pathways that form true comprehension. But knowledge without application remains theoretical. The decisions to solve problems, test ideas, and implement concepts bridge the gap between knowing and understanding. Your brain forms stronger connections when you actively engage with information rather than passively consuming it. This active engagement requires sustained focus, a skill increasingly rare in our distraction-filled world. The ability to concentrate deeply on one thing, to follow a thought to its logical conclusion without checking notifications or switching tasks, has become a superpower in the digital age. Underpinning all of these practices is authentic self-confidence. Not the kind that depends on external validation, but the kind that emerges from within. This isn't about declaring, "I'm smart," but about embracing, "I'm capable of figuring this out." The implications of adopting these practices extend far beyond academic achievement. They impact how you navigate challenges, approach relationships, and interact with the world. Each time you choose curiosity over certainty, simplicity over complexity, or focus over distraction, you're not just learning better, you're rewiring your neural architecture. Looking at your own learning experiences, have there been moments when fear of judgment held you back? Comment below with, "I'm breaking free," if you're ready to liberate your thinking from the constraints of others' opinions. So there you have it, the blueprint for unlocking the genius that already exists within your mind. Remember, you're carrying the same fundamental hardware that has written symphonies, decoded DNA, and unraveled the mysteries of the cosmos. The difference isn't in the brain itself, but in how you choose to use it. I hope this perspective has given you a new lens through which to view your own learning journey. If this resonated with you, I'd love to know you made it through our exploration together. Drop a comment saying, "My genius is awakening," so I can acknowledge your commitment to transforming how you approach knowledge. If you found value in these insights, consider subscribing to join our community of curious minds. Each week, we dive into these kinds of transformative concepts that challenge conventional thinking and unlock new potential. And if this sparked something in you today, that like button is a simple way to let me know we're on the same wavelength. You know, understanding how to learn is just the beginning. The human mind has so many fascinating dimensions worth exploring. I've created a video right here about how to develop unshakable focus in a distracted world, a perfect companion to the Feynman method we discussed today. Click through and let's continue this journey of mental mastery together. Until next time, keep asking why.